We're gonna press from our armpit. Squeeze my booty, squeeze my armpit up. Right, my elbows are going forward till I get to about my eyebrows. Then I can make a crooked J. I can open up if I have to.
While keeping your mid back on the wall and not letting your rib cage flare, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach up and I'm gonna try to touch the wall here, right? For some of you, try to keep your arms straight. You may feel tightness in here in the front of your shoulder, but arms straight if we can. Can you hold your arms on the wall like this? And can we slide up the wall with our hands in contact with the wall here, okay? So you're gonna feel at a certain point, my elbows maybe come off, right? Maybe my hands start coming forward. That's as far as you need to go. You might feel stretch in the front of your shoulder, but here to here, okay?
And you go slide up and you go. And your wrist bend, and you're like, I'm touching, right? But you're not really touching. So if this move isn't flat against the wall without flaring everything, and we go to this, we've got to get some of those mobility things out, or we're putting stress on that joint once we put load, whatever that load is, whether it's in here or in life. So for some people, you'll fix a lot of your mobility issues if we can take these shoulders and make them these shoulders. Put your hands behind your back, and your goal is to grab your elbows like this. If you can't grab your elbows, you're still a good person. Grab as far across as you can. And my shoulders are open and relaxed.
Press overhead with this band. So the point of this is I turn on my external rotators right here, and my forearms are parallel. They're not in this arrow. They're not in this weird W. I'm here, and can I press overhead? Is the back of your shoulders here. I'm turning these things on to set a platform to help me press above head. What rest does is it lets things calm down. It lets the inflammation window calm down. And once it's time to come back and start lifting again, you're right back where you were, square one, right? We didn't do anything to raise the capacity level of what you're doing. So when I come in here and I look at the workouts as well, and let's say there's shoulder press, I choose a weight that I know I can do 8 to 10 times, but we're doing 8 to 10 times probably for 4 sets in a pod, right? That's 40 reps. So it's about finding that line of what's too much and what's too little, and then being able to still train just below that capacity line. So I'm a little soft in the elbows, which makes me turn on my shoulder blades just a little more. So instead of locking out my joints and just relying on my joint stability, I'm making my shoulder on this side work a little harder, right?
You've always heard me say is on a strength day, I'll let you lift as heavy as you want to lift as long as you lift it well. On a cardio day, I'll let you go as fast as you want to go as long as you move well. So in the weightlifting world, in the athletic world, we call that greasing the groove, right? And there's a lot of different ways to it because a lot of exercises we do in here are what I, as a strength coach, would call a grind, right? What that means is I pick up a load, whether that's a barbell, a kettlebell, a dumbbell, and I'm squatting, or with a press. It's a grind, right? I'm not, for the most instances, unless I have a weight that's movable, trying to like pump out 89 reps of a press. And I think, unfortunately, in a lot of gym scenarios, because a lot of strength training information with the Googleverse, right, throws a lot of stuff out there. And we think if I do 48 reps at the heaviest dumbbell I can find, and I just power it out because I can kind of bounce and do it, we're not greasing the groove. At some point in time, as Dr. Martin was saying, the track is going to break on that. So if you start with these banded exercises and the wall exercise, eventually it changes to a different band. Eventually that changes to a dumbbell or a kettlebell or a bar that's lighter, but now we've kind of grooved what track works for our shoulders, right? And then all of a sudden we can start changing that load. You've rarely seen me, when it's in here, pressing the 66-pounder, right? Because I'm going to sacrifice my groove, right? I'm going to get plenty strong, practicing an appropriate weight as time goes, and I'm going to wave that load. Some days on cardio, that press, like today, might be an 11-pounder. And as time goes on a strength day, that might be a 22-pounder. I might get less reps. What is ultimately important for any of those exercises is my groove, right? Through the years with the physical therapy and the training and the rehab departments I've worked with, right, we try and give people really consolidated, limited rehab options, because the rule of thumb in a lot of studies is if I give you 5, you're not going to do any of them. If I give you 3, you'll do 2 and probably really 1, which is your favorite one, right? I really love that one. I'm good at it. So I want to limit your options, but what I do want to do is, as he said, there's no off days, right? So what I want to do is move and practice my mobility probably in some version every day. Does that make sense? Now, I would call that, for most people who live normal lives, neural chunking, right? So it's, Paul's got 5 minutes. He's going to do 5 minutes of his favorite one. A couple hours later, you got 8 minutes. You might do 2 minutes of your favorite one. And as we neural chunk that through our day and time, it just becomes a thing where I just set a time every day. And I, for example, personally, at my age, I have an 8-minute mobility routine. I do it 6 days a week. It takes 8 minutes. And it keeps my knees, my ankles, my shoulders, my neck, and my back really healthy.